What's the latest?
Well, I think it's a sad news for democracy across the sub-region, because we are just dealing with the unprecedented decision of the 3 countries to leave ECOWAS. And then we have a challenge at hand, in which I don't think ECOWAS response is quite.
Have they had any response yet?
They issued a communique, but if you compare the words in it as to when they were condemning some of the coups, you could see the disparity.
What is his point? So he's in a second term?
He's in his second
term. When is the election due?
Election was due February 25th of this month.
So 25th of this month, a few weeks to go.
Yeah.
Campaign has started?
Yeah.
Has campaign started?
Yeah. There was suspicion all the way that he was trying to come for a 3rd term. He denied it vehemently.
Okay.
And now it seems he's trying to back someone on the throne, knowing that he cannot really extend his rule. But interestingly, Senegal has had one-party rule for so long, during the era of one-party rule across Africa, one-party.
Diop?
Not before Diop. Before Diop, we have Senghor. Early after independence, we had this one-party system.
Yeah, all over across, yes.
But unlike most African countries, Senegal equally had a peaceful transition from Senghor to Diop.
Were they not the same party?
The same party. Yeah,
but Diop was there for long.
Diop was the prime minister.
Yes.
Senghor was the first president.
Yeah.
But the transition from Senghor to Diop was peaceful. Okay. Senegal has never had a coup d'etat in its history.
Yeah. Till now.
Yeah, and they always had the ability to withstand tyranny. So perhaps he would just go down as someone who attempted to extend his rule. But
who did Senegal take out on tyranny? They don't have any history.
Abdoulaye Wade also wanted to extend his rule. And by then he was part of Wade's party as a prime minister. He broke away from Wade's party, joined the opposition and triumphed against Wade. But he's not coming to do what he rebuked Wade for doing.
Okay. Oh, I remember when they went on the streets against Wade.
And this was his statement when he was saying that I will initiate an open national dialogue to bring together the conditions for a free, transparent and inclusive election in peaceful Senegal. When we look at the articles of the constitution, we begin to see that all what he's trying to do is in contravention of the law, and he has no power to do that. But then you see, this was Senghor to Diop and Wade. So we had that peaceful transition.
Okay.
And the ruling Socialist Party ruled from 1960 to 2000 when they were defeated by Wade's party. But then there are those who also argue that perhaps now having realized that he cannot come for a 3rd term, and his anointed candidate, who happened to be Amadou Ba, the current prime minister, does not have a strong command within the ruling party. He's trying to have a backdoor deal with Wade. One of the reasons why Karim
Wade, not Abdoulaye Wade.
No, not Abdoulaye Wade, the younger Wade.
So this is Karim Wade's son?
Yeah, no, Abdoulaye Wade's son, Karim Wade.
Abdoulaye Wade's son, okay, yes.
Was disqualified from the race because he has dual nationality.
America?
No, he holds a French nationality.
Okay.
So that was one of the reasons why
he's out.
He was initially barred from the race. And then you have Adom-Otchere. You know, Ousmane Sonko from the PANSTEF, who was actually one of his vocal critics, was already was under detention.
In detention in Senegal?
Yeah, he was already jailed.
Okay.
And even because he has a very
fierce critic of the government.
Yeah, and he has a very strong command of the street and the youth because of his youthful age. So Adom-Otchere emerged as the leading opposition figure. She was also arrested.
Oh, really?
Sonko was arrested.
Does the opposition have seats in parliament in Senegal?
Yeah, it is 165 seats, but the number is quite very low. So he has a majority in parliament.
So these people represent a part of a party that has seats in parliament.
Yeah.
And how did they get detained like that?
I don't think PANSTEF has a seat in parliament.
Okay.
But then the Wade's party.
No, I mean, do they belong to a party that has seats in parliament? That's what I'm asking. Or is there opposition seats in parliament?
Yeah, they're opposition, but the number is very, very
Yeah, forget about the number. Is it those parties that these people also represent, or is it a different party? Do you understand my question?
I get your question.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if
he has any party at all.
No, if his party is in parliament.
Okay.
But for these two, they
have members of parliament from their party.
Because she even defected from the government to join the opposition rank.
Okay. But they are not members of parliament.
No. Okay. So what was when Sonko was arrested, he placed Bassirou Faye as a surrogate.
He is Sonko.
He's Sonko.
Okay, place this guy as a surrogate
just
to continue the movement, the mobilization.
Just like, when Nkrumah was under detention, I think after the riot, Bedema had to be there.
Yes.
So he did that same. Okay. But then knowing that he was his Ousmane Sonko surrogate, he equally arrested him.
So he's also in jail?
Yeah. But now there's this belief that he postponed the election because there's an attempt to revoke the younger Wade's French citizenship that will allow the younger Wade to rule. Because the current president and the Wade family have always have long history. He was a minister under the father. He was a prime minister under the father. So there was this backdoor deal around the rule. But then The main difficulty, this takes us back to what Ouattara did. Just like Ouattara, Ouattara had to come for a third term when he's anointed, his preferred successor, Amadou Gon Coulibaly, died unexpectedly. Then he decided to go for a third term. So he's equally backing his prime minister. But realizing that Amadou Ba doesn't really have that strong command, there's this belief that he's now striking a deal with the younger one. And there are those who equally see the hands of French, because Sonko's argument has always been a bit of anti-French.
Colonial French?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
that's the imperial French?
Yeah. But then let's look at ECOWAS' remarks when they were condemning the coup in Niger. ECOWAS has received the news of attempted coup in Niger. ECOWAS condemned in strong terms the attempt to seize power by force and called the coup protest to free democratically elected president. It goes down the line. But then look at their choice of word when they were dealing with Senegal. The commission takes notice of the decision Senegal's authorities have taken to postpone the presidential election, scheduled to take place February 25th. ECOWAS Commission expresses concern over circumstances that have led to postponement of the elections and appeal to competent authorities to expedite various processes in order to set a new date for the election. The Commission further urges the entire political class to prioritize dialogue and collaboration. But then, interestingly, they salute President Macky Sall for upholding his earlier decision not to run for a third term. He not running for a third term is not a favor to the Senegalese people. That is a dictate of the law. So he's not doing a favor. He does not deserve this salute. One. Secondly, the same strong-worded rebuke that was meted against the military coup, there are those who think when constitutional coup is taking place, the same form of response.
Maybe a little bit of time, because they've just merely postponed an election. They now have to come with a date for the new election.
He does not have that power in the constitution. And then that will lead us. And that will lead us to what do you call it? ECOWAS's own protocol on good governance. This is another, what do you call it? Kind of cosmetic, for lack of a better word. But then,
what's in Article 3? Article
3 of the Senegalese constitution says that sovereignty belongs to the people. And interestingly, it says here that no section of the people, no, any individual may arrogate the exercise of sovereignty. By trying to act unconstitutionally, he's in violation of Article 3. 1. Article 30 stipulates when the election should take place. 29 full days before the first round of ballot. They have this French double system. And the Constitutional Court orders to publish the list of candidates. That's Then Article 31 also says the ballot for the election of President of the Republic takes place 45 full days at most, and 30 full days at least before the date of expiration of the mandate of the President of the Republic.
When is the President expiring? When is he expiring? When is he supposed to hand over?
He was supposed to hand over in May.
But so this works. 30 days. You are still within.
But the question is, the Constitution did not give him the power to postpone election.
So who has the power to postpone election? The Electoral Commission? Do they have the Constitutional Court?
The Constitutional Council. Not him.
What have they said about his action?
No, there was a dispute between he and the Constitutional Court over the party list. But
what is party list?
They have this semi-presidential system where you have the Prime Minister emerging from Parliament. So they have this, is it what do you call it?
The ministerial list?
What do you call it? How do you call this? Where you list the party. So according to the number of, what do you call it? The list, each party, then you get your seat is given.
Yeah, proportional representation.
So they use that kind of mix.
Yeah, they use proportional representation.
So there's a dispute between, and so that was how come the Constitutional Council disqualified Wade over, what do you call it, his dual nationality. And then Ousmane Sonko was accused of rape.
So do they have a set of candidates who have been cleared for the election?
So what the opposition is saying is that already the omission of some candidates was just to favor the ruling party and to allow him, since he cannot come for a third term, decide
to choose who he wants to take over.
But then the opposition fought firmly on the street. So he realized that even going to the ballot, he cannot win. But perhaps...
Has he said he wants to run?
Initially, he was quiet, but his moves... let's look at Condé. Some of the things Condé...
So right now, what's the situation in Senegal? They are waiting for a new date, or they are insisting on 25th February?
He postponed it indefinitely. But initially, the speculation was that the postponement will even be up to August 25th. But what was passed in Parliament postponed the election to December.
So Parliament did it?
Yeah. But then under duress, we'll get there.
Yeah, I understand that, but in terms of the documentation, it's Parliament that did it. Parliament that did the postponement. Is that what the documentation will say?
Well, the documentation will appear under Parliament.
Yeah. Well, it will be signed by either the Speaker, the Clerk, the Leader, the Prime Minister.
But then even if it is done in Parliament, it must have legal merit.
No, I'm not talking about its legality.
Yeah, no, so,
I'm locating the documentation. It's Parliament
and that is why this appears to be more of an institutional coup. I don't like to use the word constitutional coup.
Yeah, but in Parliament, there's opposition there. The minority are there.
Yeah.
Did they say something about it?
They were bundled out by the security forces.
Physically?
Yeah, physically.
Really?
So, but this is in case of a resignation of the president or definite incapacity or death of the president of the republic, and then president of the National Assembly takes over. So ideally, if his term should have elapsed without
any election, National Assembly should take over.
National Assembly. So he has no power to extend his rule. And
but he hasn't. Has he extended his rule? Or Parliament have postponed the election? We need to be clear.
He postponed the election and now took the bill to Parliament to endorse the process. So
he took the decision and went to Parliament for ratification.
So the initial
and Parliament have ratified it.
And the initial
but you are saying that it was with minority being carried out by security.
But had his term elapsed, then the leader of the National Assembly should have taken precedence.
But we haven't gotten there. His term hasn't elapsed. This is May.
This is if his term has elapsed.
Yes, so we are not there.
But the same constitution provided for this. That there could be
yes, there could be some problem.
But the constitution did not provide for the president to suspend in order to extend his own term.
Is that what he's doing?
That's what he's doing.
But has he said he's staying beyond May?
By extending without election.
No, he can go and the election will okay.
He doesn't look as if he's going.
No, but we have to get there before you can make that analysis. We have to get to May and he's still there, then you know he's violated that.
He's only playing the book of Konde and Ouattara. The only difference between
I know all that, but when it hasn't happened, you can't say it will happen. You can't say it will happen. It's a possibility, but you can't say it will happen.
But the first question here is that this is an unconstitutional move.
Yes, the illegality of postponing the election is clear. Clear.
So the question is, why is ECOWAS trying to massage this and then try to play nice with constitutional coup and then be firm on military coups? That's the main.
The constitutional coup question is more diverse than just postponing elections.
Well, I think
it's not simple. The military coup one is easier to determine,
and that is why I brought the articles of ECOWAS, protocol on good governance and democracy. Yeah. Article 1 states the following: separation of powers, executive, legislature, and judiciary, empowerment of just look at, and then that is A.
Yeah.
B. Every accession to power must be made through free, fair, transparent elections. Right. One, which doesn't seem to be happening in Senegal.
Why?
Because of the moves he's taking. You can't begin to sideline the opposition.
Yeah, those arrests.
Zero tolerance for power obtained or maintained by unconstitutional means, not military coup. Yeah. He's fall short of this. Then the question is why that's kind of mad.
But the people who have been arrested.
So the question is, so when people say that ECOWAS perhaps encourages these sort of things, well, we may kind of disagree with them, but they clearly have a very...
I think we should wait and see what happens at the end of February, 25th February, what the Constitutional Court come up with, what Parliament come up with, whether Macky Sall is going to say that he wants to extend his term beyond May, or that he wants to participate in elections again.
But do you remember Guinea?
Yeah, which part of the Guinea story?
Alpha Conde. Same thing took place. ECOWAS stayed mute. But when he was ousted out of office, they came with this kind of... And that is why if you look at the 4 coups across, that of Doumbouya seems to have more legitimacy.
The Guinea one?
Yeah, on the face value.
On the basis that the guy was extending his term.
Than
the others, yeah.
But then, ECOWAS also came hard at him. But the question is, if you could go hard at him, why do you allow those who usurp the...
What did ECOWAS do? You mean the statement? The statement they issued against him was more direct. Well, asking him to hand over power back and
was more direct. But also by actions, we see suspension against the military government.
Yes, of suspension of the country from ECOWAS. Yeah.
But when people use, almost for lack of better word...
So Senegal has not been suspended?
It has not been suspended.
No such announcement has
been. But there are those who also think that there's a French hand behind the scene that is playing.
That suspicion will always be there.
with French West Africa. Sonko comes from this anti-French nationalist, what do you call it? Not necessarily anti-French, but he believes that Senegal should have more benefit of its relationship with France. And then this is a video, but this is a screenshot of what the person said. France hand at work.
Ah, okay.
And then this is an old picture of Abdoulaye Wade.
It's Foreigner Singbe?
No, this is...
the current president,
Macky Sall.
Macky Sall, okay.
and then
his son.
Karim Wad. So
Okay.
those will be the backdoor deal.
Okay.
But this is one of the scenes from Parliament.
Oh, this is on the day of the event.
This is what happened.
The day when they were asked to ratify the president's decision.
That was yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah. This is what happened.
This is what happened.
Yeah.
What are the soldiers doing in there? They are taking out some MPs.
They are taking the opposition out so the bill could be passed. But then if ECOWAS tend to act as if they didn't see this and come and bring that...
So this is on social media, these photographs?
Yeah, everywhere across the media. And come and bring that sugar-coated West. I mean,
Okay.
some people have problem with that.
This is to be condemned.
And we also can't blame them when they have issue with that. So ECOWAS should rather, be up and doing. Else we encourage more coup. But then interestingly, you see, this picture was very inspiring to me, very interesting, that if Senegal happens to be the home of the Teranga Lions, and we have seen not even longevity of Senghor or Diouf, has teamed their yearning for freedom. And what
so this is a resistance parade?
Yeah, this is the protest.
Demonstration?
Yeah.
Protest?
And people, and then the response of the security force has been...
Oh, this is an old man who is on the street.
Heavy-handedness.
Yeah.
But
really?
Yeah.
They're shooting at people?
The video, the picture I showed, is actually a video where they were like confronting this is an armored car, and these are the protesters, stoning, and then they're also responding with tear gas and rubber bullets and the likes. Wow. So everything that transpired in Guinea prior to the coup
is happening almost.
Is what is happening.
Yeah, it's playing out in Senegal.
And then if we can use the benefit of the hindsight, then we can see that perhaps ECOWAS had not learned its lesson. Because Guinea should have taught us. Because the only reason why Ouattara had his way and Condé wasn't successful was two. Unlike Ouattara, Condé didn't have a firm grip of the army. But Ouattara, by the virtue of the civil war that resulted in his, in his emergence, pro-Gbagbo members of the military were sidelined. And when he came to power, he was also able to ease out the likes of his former allies when they became opponents, Guillaume Soro and the like. So he had a firm grip of the army. He only had the opposition to contend with. And that was why he was able to survive it. But because Condé did not have that kind of strong control over that, he lost it. So the question is, would ECOWAS wait for perhaps a coup d'etat to happen before they take a more stronger decision? Or they would rather wait for more blood to be shed before they come to take a firm decision? The ball is in ECOWAS.
Let's wait till the end of February and see what happens. That was a very good presentation by Alhassan Bello.